as you can see, I think I mentioned this for anybody who keeps up with my postings. I mentioned this, that I had to go through a rather profound change in the office layout. The camera was pointing at a door that's off screen here to the left, because everything was over there in front of the window. And so when you had people walking by to go to the kitchen or go to the bedroom or go upstairs or whatever, they made these brief cameos. And my wife wasn't too happy about being caught in the public eye. So we're just we've just moved things around to make it work. And then I want to be able to see if I can. Now I do have another camera here sitting on top of the microphone, and I'm going to bring the microphone a little closer so that it's a little bit closer, pick me up. I won't sound like I'm in a hollow shell. And then also, I'm gonna step off screen here to go and pick up one of my guitars. But everything is still totally disorganized, and so I'm really not prepared for this. But I, in the spirit of making quick decisions, I'm going to just grab something here and hook it up. Let's see. So I'm getting input on here, but I must, let me see. So today's little story song is something called Dreamscape Part 2. And that would be why. Why am I not hearing myself? Why am I not hearing myself? I'm getting audio. Normally reliable. Strandberg, Bowden. I got this when I was at Google. I had a sort of artist discount, essentially saving us the combination sales tax and some other little bit of stuff. And so it came at a nice lower price. And I also didn't realize until I think I was about 3/4 of the way through swapping out the pickup, that the pickup that they are using in the bridge position was a sewer, and I really shouldn't have changed it. But this is a DiMarzio. I think it's the liquefier. I picked it up for the 7-string originally, but apparently I had picked the wrong item, so I picked up the 6-string version. Super late at night, didn't really vet my choice, and so I ended up stuck with the 6-string version, and I thought, well, I'm gonna put it in and give it a try, and then essentially wired it up in the same fashion that the sewer was. So humbucker, single coil, middle position. So single coil and middle position, middle and neck, and it's all like Stradish. Strat-like. So, I'm really wondering why I'm not getting any audio to speak of. Could be I need to turn this up. And that would be it. Too many doodads. So, somebody delivered my son's new 1 terabyte SSD. Too bad he didn't live up to his expectations and has to do a lot more homework to be able to win that one off. So let's get back to it. This is what only thing I'm going to use for today. I guess I may try and climb over the keyboard stand that's right here, and which is got a Gibraltar, and it's really sleek looking, but it's kind of long. So I gotta step over that and to get into where all guitar corner is, and get the acoustic. But to go back to the song is level 2 of Dreamscape. It's a really nice little progression. So just an A sus 2 or A sus 9, whichever one you want to say. That's the A major, A sus 2. So, and then to E minor sus 2. No, E minor diminished third 7th. So E 5th. The D is the what's this? It's the 7th. No, it's E minor. E minor 7th. So it really reminded me of something, and I couldn't pick it out where it came from. So I don't because I was playing it originally. I played it, of course, because this is within arm's reach. I played it on an electric first, and then went through the whole process of it drives me crazy. Hate it when guitars are out of tune, especially mine. So, went through the whole process of writing this part. Which is the main verse. Then I went to that's it. We'll go through that. And then I thought, well, this is going to go really nicely on an island string. So I have a guitar built by Robert Gooden, up in Canada. Got that about 3-4 years ago, and it sounds gorgeous. The only thing was it wasn't electrified, or it wasn't. I didn't have a piezo or anything, so it would require a lot of required to be mic'd up, and in this environment, miking up something can be risky because of the kids, the dogs, the cat, the wife, the au pair, everything. So went out and got myself the Seymour Duncan Rick Turner system. It was originally called the DTAR system. Now it's just marketed and sold by Seymour Duncan, and it's a combination undersaddle and internal microphone system. And they did a wonderful bit of engineering to make the undersaddle system less pingy. It's absolutely gorgeous. I wouldn't be able to get a sound like that with a microphone if I tried in this house. In fact, I recorded the nylon string in this piece, and then a friend in the neighborhood has a recording studio down next to our supermarket, and wanted me to come in and do some testing. I think that the post still the audio still exists on SoundCloud, on my SoundCloud channel, but it was to do some testing with his high-end Neumanns, when I should have just said, hey, can I just record this piece and you send me the WAV files. But he did. We recorded in stereo, and it sounds beautiful. But I can almost argue that this system that's inside of that I've mounted, I put in there myself, mounted and set up, sounds warmer and more present than any miking. So started off with the. If you look down here at the screen, let's see if I can minimize this guy here and make this a little bit bigger. If you look at the screen, here's the nylon string, and so we'll jump ahead a bit. Okay, so that's the nylon string. And again, so that's that part. And then it goes to, I can't remember now. That's it. And sounded like such a nice piece, and it fits very nicely with part one of of level one of Dreamscape, which are the same essential notes, but they're up. They're up at the second fret because I wanted to have this sort of like A to B, nice little groove going, and I didn't want to do like, because it's also easier for me to like, on the bass especially, it starts to get pretty wide. So, we've got this beautiful little nylon string part. Goes all the way through. You can see I've kind of, because the nylon string also has a much chunkier neck, and some of the chords that I'm playing, like this, where I'm actually using the thumb to hold the F sharp or the E especially. I started getting to the point where some of my fingers start fretting out, or muting excessively the other strings, and it's not, pardon me, and it's not ringing out very nicely. So, sorry to be eating, but everything's late today. So, what I do here, I play it several times, and then I pick the best bits and pieces, put it together. Now, I may decide that I'm living with excessive amounts of shame, start going through, doing my finger stretching exercises early in the morning, and by the evening, come back in and try and do this all as one take. But for now, nobody can tell. Just, you can only tell by looking at it. So this nice little chord progression suggests a really nice little melody that goes along with it. And this is the melody line. So let's play the two of these guys together. Alright, I'm just going to add this just join me for some music fun. Okay, let's go back to our... So you got the idea here. The next thing, because you don't want to just keep, even though as you see the track here, I kept playing because I like to, I kept it as a placeholder. The thing is that it would be just kind of dull if it kept going without some sort of timbre change. And what I did was I also set the automation to go and down. But, like, so the volume is off there. At one time, I thought, hey, why not do these things in stereo? So I brought in my Breedlove 6-string, and I was going to play double up the line. But I guess at the time, when I listened to it, it just sounded a little bit too busy. So... And I also never play things the same twice, it seems like. Okay. So no big mystery there. That's all nice, fine and dandy. So what else can we do to fill out the sound? Well, back here, I thought, could really use is some really wispy sort of ambient patch type stuff, like pad stuff, way in the background. If we look over here at the, you can see that it's pulled back a little bit, and the Archangel, I think, is running. Do I even have that? No, that's the MIDI track that recorded this. So what I'm trying to do is for anything that's an instrument track that I can directly hit the VST, like the modular bass lines here, which I'll get to. I'm leaving as a single track. For anything that's like a MIDI track that also records from an external module, I'm recording the module because it makes it easier for me to archive everything, just in case at some point the module dies or it leaves my possession or whatever. But I also have this. I have the MIDI that I can then print out the sheet music, and if needed, send that as part of the package to Library of Congress and also to my to ASCAP and everything else to with all of my transcriptions up here, which Cubase is really cool because you can run it through audio files and it will automatically convert notes to MIDI, which then allows for MIDI to then print sheet music off, as long as it's not too complex. So if it was like some big huge slamming chords, like like this, which I think if like something like that might be a little bit too difficult, but it's especially helpful for drums, in the sense of I can pull out kick drum, snare drum, and have and then be able to trigger samples from them, and also for bass lines. But it's I'm able to have sheet music printed for all this. In this case here, I wanted something that was going to complement in the background, so I brought this up. Very nice, very simple thing going on in the background that fills out the sound really nicely. When we get to the next verse, it needed a little bit more. There's something a little bit more. So let's see, I'm going to bring this back to normal size. And a little bit more, I thought, hell, let's bring in 12 string. 12 string, just strumming the chords. Nice and easy, like. So we're building up this, everything's slowly building up. Starting to sound pretty nice right now. And it's just brought in just high enough. I've got it set to -10 on the meters. Just high enough that it fills up some space and adds a little dynamic. Now, I wanted to bring a little bit of low into here. So I've got this Moog Modular VST, courtesy of Arturia and the V collection. I've got a Moog Taurus patch on this, and it just fills it out beautifully. So, as you realize, just playing this endlessly, it wouldn't actually, just as we keep building, we still don't have a whole lot of dynamic. So, just like in the EDM song, where you get to the point where it's like, boom, chicka, boom, chicka, boom, chicka, boom, chicka, bow, you get the drop, and then you return to, like, you build up the intensity and then you drop and then you bring it up to a different level. So this little gap here, just a little trick. So I'm able to let it hang, and now all of a sudden, this is now where I have my stereo guitars. 12 string in the right channel, now I'm stringing the right channel. And to complete the deal, to make it just so, I bring in I've got a Virus TI that has some absolutely beautiful sounds. I'm also, the original song that I wrote actually faded out around here. It just faded. I wanted to extend it because it really, what we've done here with the Virus TI solo, with the Mellotron doing the choirs and everything, has sort of given it almost like a Genesis tone from Enchanted? No. Oh my god. Anyways, second song, Trick of the Tail. It has that almost that kind of feel to it. So bring in the Mellotrons, especially now in string 12 string, Genesis, and then an oboe-ish type of sound for my to really complete that whole Tony Banks sort of feel. Tony Banks, Steve Hackett feel now. And then when I extended it, didn't want to just keep using the oboe. I went over to my Arturia Matrix Brute. Introduced Mr. Emerson introduced Mr. Keith Emerson to Genesis. I said, here you go, have a go. Naturally, I don't play like Keith Emerson. Keith would have taken it off into a lot of different areas. But the fact is, I think it adds just enough of a dynamic. The song gets extended a bit, as it was 3 minutes and 30 seconds, which is perfect for radio, but I can't see that radio would ever play this. But oh, Mr. Edwards. So he's uploading his drum tracks for me. I'm live streaming now. I don't know if I have an audience. But I will grab them afterwards. And Andy's off. We can chat. Oh, thank you, Andy. It's really, is it boring? As I said, I'm just going to go through this. I'm going to try and play a couple tunes with the guitar, and probably pick up the acoustic, and then. But in the meantime, this is the entire piece. So please comment and let me know you're online and watching. This is Dreamscape level 2. I may add some embellishments. All right. So that's the piece. And the surprising thing is I think that we're only capturing things through the microphone. I could be wrong. Oh, thanks, Andy. I really appreciate that. That's awesome. And so that's that. Now, there is another piece of music here. I'm going to, of course, because Cubase has this wonderful little bug that if I decide to just close something, even though I haven't made any changes to it, as soon as I start messing with the with muting and soloing and doing all that stuff, it decides that it needs to be saved, and then it hangs. And let's see. So let's look at there's a tune that I wrote and recorded in one day. I'm trying to find it, and it's called "In Memory Of." This was one of those wonderfully magical moments that you pick up your guitar. At that point it was the electric 12-string that I built, and I'm sitting on the sofa in the salon, as my wife calls it, the living room, the salon, formal place where you greet people. And it was in December or early January, and it just because at that point I thought I had everything all sorted as far as the content for the album. I thought, oh, I've got 60 something minutes worth of music. Dreamscape level 3 hadn't been completed yet, and I really had a sort of unsatisfying Foucault's Pendulum Part 2 that was shorter, and it felt totally incomplete. But I had 68 minutes worth of music, and so but the magical moment happened. I'm sitting on the sofa and I'm playing around with the guitar, and it just happened to strike my synapses, my neurons the right way, and evoked an emotional response. And before you know it, here comes this song. This is called "In Memory Of." It has absolutely no. It's a working title, but it has no lyrics yet. So. All right. So, I mean, despite the ominous title of In Memory Of, it actually is kind of like it could actually be a song reminiscent of childhood and all the summer and warm days spent, your typical Canadian American image of childhood is swinging on the rope and dropping into the pond, or in my particular childhood, riding your bicycles through the woods and in all the greenbelt trails, and building tree forts and all that kind of stuff. So it could actually be something a little bit more joyful, which the song evokes. It's an interesting little progression. So it's just a different voicing going up. I could work it out, but I mean, just walking up the E major scale. It's the first two chords of that. So I'm letting the B and the E. In this voicing, I think that's considered a suspended. So it's essentially just like an augmented, like an E4, except that I'm moving the fifth up to the sixth. Yes, and I'm leaving the seventh open. I'm playing the 9. So you can consider that like an E6 add 9 7th chord, because there's this wonderful little dissonant there, but on a 12th string it sounds absolutely fantastic. I only bring in the Breedlove 12th string in the second verse, but it's again, it all has to do with arrangements. The there's also this, I wanted to be able to feature the guitar that Rick Turner built for me a little over a year ago now, or no, actually just a little less than a year ago I picked it up. And it's the Model 1. It's the same model that Lindsey Buckingham uses when he's touring and does his electric thing. It's also, I guess, John Mayer used it for a while, either with the Dead and Company tour, or maybe brings it out occasionally when he wants to on his own solo tours. But it's just simply a fantastic instrument. It has the feel. The neck is good size, just like a really well played, well balanced acoustic guitar, like a Martin or something. But yet it's solid. It's all sort of curved on both the front and back. You can go and look it up and find out all the details. It's engineered such that there is no standing wave reflection inside the body of the guitar. It's really well thought out, and it sounds so beautiful. And so I used it here on this during the solo break. So let's go back to here, because we can go through sections. So we have this intro, which ends up being the chorus. Play the E major to C sharp minor. I think I'm completing the E major, but I really like that, the A5 that with the suspended B, suspended E. And so I played that during here, give you a different voice, and then F sharp minor. So that's 1, 6, 4, 2, where the 6 and the 4 on the E major scale are minors. Then the bridge is the C sharp minor, the 6th position on the E major scale. Back down to the 4th, which is major, 2 minor. So that's your bridge, and then it goes back to the chorus, where I really want to sort of accentuate the chiminess of the open B and the E. Now, when we get to the solo, which I was going to jump to a little bit earlier, but now I can. That's your 6th minor, your 6th position minor, and we go down to the 3 position minor, G sharp or G sharp minor, up to the A major. And you can do this almost sounds like a modulation, but that's actually correct. So and then this slide guitar comes in. I'm not a natural slide player. It's something I break out so rarely. But I love the sound of it, and it just... I'm using this butterfly slide that I bought 25 years ago. It's apparently it's crystal. I don't know if you can read that, which is really odd. But so I'm doing this thing. Everybody's heard "Torn" by oh, help me out here. What's her name? The Australian artist. She was on soap operas there and did this absolute beautiful song called "Torn," and there is in the outro there's this slide guitar that goes, and so I stole it. I totally used it on this, and then because I'm just not that adept with slide, I decided I was going to go back to this ending solo. And play it on frets. So the other thing is that I'm okay on piano. Piano's not my strongest suit, but I can sure hack out something and go back and fix it. So it doesn't require, the song doesn't really require anything that's too complicated as a typical piano player would do. Most of the stuff that I do best at is like, it'll let me. Is it going to let me? I guess not. I do arpeggios. I do like arpeggiated stuff very well. Ironically, but as far as playing like two hands and pianist style, that's where my my Seattle collaborator Paul Harrington, he made up for my weakness by being exceptionally great at it, and then the other aspect is I can fake it. That's about it. So this little piano piece just happens to just sits in the background, and you hear the accents. And I'm bringing in the Turner, and that's using the piezo on the Turner, which works really well with the 12 string in stereo. Just fills everything out. Just fills everything out. And then finally, I have two bass guitars. I have a Warwick, and I have my J bass. The J bass was a Craigslist acquisition. Has well, it used to have Bartolini and a GFS big huge humbucker that was very much like the one on Music Man, which absolutely sounds beautiful, killer. But the Bartolini was always a little weak. So, anyways, but it didn't fit the song. I wanted something that was a little bit more present, and the Warwick has. You can tell it's me playing, and it was also probably because this was all recorded in one day. This was take number 3. So I'm still trying to find my way in terms of playing the right notes and not fall into the busy trap. The last thing about this is I played the drums, and so I've got my Simmons kit over here. And I can kind of hack out something. And the wonderful thing about MIDI is you can go back and fix it. So I hacked out drums on this, and I took several takes at it at the end, and then grabbed the best chunk and just looped and then edited to make it work. So you know, when you get a good feel, then it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna, instead of having it sit on the ride, I'm gonna go and try and use the hi-hat with it like halfway open. There were a couple trickier spots here that I don't recall, like that. I probably made an attempt at it, and then went back and made it fit the intent. Last thing, because we're starting to run out of time here. We're at 1 hour. Last thing is the Hammond organ, which I'm actually particularly fond of. I have to thank Jim Alfredson, who demonstrated the IK Multimedia Hammond plugin. Up until that point, I was using like either the Arturia plugin or this guy Guido from Italy, his VB3 whatever plugin. That's really quite nice, but there were times where it just didn't cut through, and then the IK Multimedia came out with this, and it just rocks. And so I did try to do the old palm sweep up, and then again, it fits so nicely, and gives the song a crowded house feel. So all of a sudden I'm playing. It sounds like the first big hit from Crowded House, because there's this beautiful organ song that comes in. So that's the construction of the song. The vocals, I've got a place for it. Vocals will probably come in right around here after the something along those lines. Sunny day. Na 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 na. Anyway, that's the song, and we're running out of time. I appreciate all of you people being here, as much as you might be watching or not. You're really a wonderful audience, and I sincerely hope and pray that you stay healthy throughout this whole pandemic issue, and take care of yourself. Stay at home as much as possible. We're utilizing our backyard more than I think we ever have historically, and enjoy the sun. Go out and do your walks. Wave at people from across the street, and keep your distance, and then and just stay healthy until we find our way out of this. And thank you very much, and have an excellent rest of your day. Take care.